Letitia James, she's coming out swinging against Donald Trump in a press conference just moments ago, saying this.
Not only does this administration's new policy put people at risk, but it is plainly unconstitutional. The president does not get to decide which laws to enforce and for whom. When Congress dedicates funding for a program, the president cannot pull that funding on a whim. Later today, I am leading and joining with my colleagues, my fellow Democratic attorney generals, in suing this administration to stop this illegal freeze of essential funds for our state. We will not stand for any illegal policy that puts essential services for millions of Americans at risk. And we work tirelessly overnight to ensure that that does not happen. Our lawsuit will seek a court order to immediately stop the enforcement of the OMB policy and to preserve essential funding for Americans.
All right, well, she got her way temporarily. A federal judge has just blocked the Trump administration's freeze on federal grants and loans. So this just came about within the last 24 hours. The White House put this freeze on federal grants and loans that basically would amount to trillions of dollars. They're trying to save money. Don't forget, that's what DOJ has been charged with. And they're like, okay, we want you to justify yourself. If you're some special program for DEI initiatives, you're going to have to justify, well, they got rid of DEI altogether. And so there's a lot of other programs in there, questions about whether student loans would be involved in this, et cetera. And so the OMB was going to say, all right, you're done. You're not going to get any money. So they've put a temporary block on that. Letitia was trying to get in the way of that because, of course, Letitia and her state, they count on all that extra money for all their ridiculous programs, all as she promises more trouble for Trump. She bragged about how she had sued him over 100 times in his last administration. She obviously had a big doozy with the nearly $500 million fine that she somehow managed to get the judge to level against him, because the judge and Letitia think that mar-a-lago is only worth $18 million, despite the fact that it makes like $56 million a year. Probably more now that he's president. Anyway, Letitia, remember, she was like, I'm not going to back down. No. I'm ready. I'm willing. I'm here.
Under my leadership, my office sued Donald Trump over 100 times. And the basis of all of that was Project 2025. So he cannot distance himself from something that he has attempted to implement when he was president of these United States. And we were successful 70% of the time. We were the firewall, Democratic attorney generals.
I just want to clarify something. So the Trump administration had actually said that people, including those that had student loans, they would not be affected by any of this. One of the things that came up in my head immediately was like, what does it mean for food stamps? And they're clarifying that it did not affect Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security, student loans, and food stamps. They also were defending the funding pause, saying that Trump was following through on his promise to turn Washington upside down if elected to the second term. So there was a lot of uncertainty, and that was leading way to a certain amount of panic. But he did say right from the very beginning it wasn't going to affect things like food stamps or Social Security or Medicare. Nonetheless, Letitia James, never one to shy away from a political opportunity, was using that for all it was worth.